What's up, guys? It's Erica with Not Your Average EDC. Oh my god, the comments on the last video are flipping hilarious. So we're gonna do a take two on this entire issue because number one, the comments on the previous one are literally a riot. Number two, I failed to mention a few things, so like I am also laughable. First things first, this knife I bought from a friend. It came to her from TRM off center. So like the knife was brand new, it got wrapped up in its little clothes, got a little address put on it, and it was sent to North Carolina to my friend. And when she opened it and took its little clothes off and out of its little box, its head was not straight. The blade was not centered from TRM. So this is not off center because of me. This is not off center because it's secondhand. This is not off center because it was used. It's off center because it was sent to Cheyenne off center from the person who made it. Okay, so I just wanted to clarify that. Number two, if she used this, there's no way she used it for anything other than like maybe some package opening. It has the factory edge, which by the way is like terrifyingly sharp. Like this is the sharpest knife I've ever had. I'm pretty sure it's literally a razor. It's insanely sharp. So if she used it for anything, it was maybe package opening, but it has the original factory edge on it. So that means that that slight use, if any, did not affect anything at all in terms of the centering, blah blah blah. Also, she literally said that she did everything she could, everything she knew to get the blade to center. Now I have the knife, and I did the same thing. I did all of my tricks that usually work to center a blade. Nothing worked. Okay, so like now that that's all out of the way and there's no excuses, just like there were no excuses in the first place, I want to go over two things. Number one, with more research, I found that on the TRM website, there is a frequently asked questions tab. And one of the FAQs is, any suggestions for centering my blade? Okay, so a frequently asked question is a question that has been asked enough times where it is frequently asked because people are asking since their knives are off center. Okay, and I'm not trying to be a dick right now. I'm trying to be very clear because like there are so many people that don't understand any of this in the last video, so I'm trying to be very clear. So enough people got knives that were off center where the company itself made a tab about it, about their knives being off center. Okay, so they said, I'm just reading this off of their, come on, focus. I'm reading this off of their site. So TRM wrote this for all the people that got their knives off-centered. They tell you to remove the clip and scales, tighten the pivot screw until the blade can't move easily, and then you hold the knife and twist it like you're snapping a twig. Trying to keep my cool here. And then once you've tried to snap your knife like a twig, the blade should be centered, and you set the pivot to the correct tension, and you add some Loctite in the pivot, not on the screw, and you tighten all the assembly screws, and then you attach the scales and the clip back together. And then if that doesn't work, then you contact customer service. Okay, so I'm glad that they tell you how to possibly fix your knife. But like, I'm not quite sure why you would send that many knives out to the point where you have to have like a tab explaining how to fix the knife. Like, if you already know how to fix it, why isn't it fixed when we get it? Because I believe the new version of this is actually $300. So like, if you know that your knives are not centered and that people have a problem with it, to the point where you have to make a tab about it and tell them to twist their knife until it almost snaps like a twig to fix it, that whole thing just kind of confuses me a little bit, and I really hope that now you guys are understanding like my confusion about this company. It also makes me a little nervous that they tell you to pretend that you're snapping your knife like a twig to like fix the scales or the centering or whatever, because you could get hurt, you could break the knife or the scales, and again, why should we have to do that when we're paying $200 or $300 for a knife? Like, shouldn't it come centered so that we don't have to pretend that we're breaking it to get it to work? That whole thing is just a little strange to me. If you're down with that, rock on, buddy. Rock on, because that would scare the shit out of me, taking these very thin micarta scales and imagining that I'm at a campfire breaking a twig to get this knife to potentially center up. That is like not something I jive with, and I don't really want anything to do with that type of fix. Like, that seems odd. If you still don't get the point, I get it. It's hard to understand things like this, especially when you're like a fan of something, if it means something to you, if you like a company or the people or whatever, which, by the way, I've heard that Marianne and the customer service is incredible. That is awesome. I'm so glad that they're good people. I'm glad that they're happy to help and that they're friendly. That is a plus. But that doesn't really have anything to do with them sending out knives that are off-center to the point where they know and they talk about it publicly, and they have like a, here, you can fix it yourself type vibe. Like, we are going to send you a knife that's off-center, but you can fix it if you want. But I am glad that they're nice people. So let me try giving this example, this situation, and maybe it will kind of help clear things up as to why this doesn't make sense to me, okay? So let's say that we have a smaller scale company, like a little more interactive, a little more home-based type thing, like TRM, okay? So they have a whole bunch of machines and stuff, and they have some employees, but like it's definitely a smaller scale operation in comparison to, let's say, Benchmade, okay? So we have Benchmade and TRM. And Benchmade is kind of like the McDiddleys of the knife world, the McDonald's, okay? So we get a lot of cool options from Benchmade, and their knives are great, just like, you know, McDonald's has a lot of options, and they're cheaper. Like, the McDonald's options are cheaper, and they taste freaking delicious. Like, a quarter pounder with cheese, that's my jam. That's delicious. Their food is so yummy. So let's say that Benchmade is kind of like the McDonald's of the knife world. A little cheaper, but delicious, okay? And then we have TRM, or a company like TRM. And this is your local burger shop, okay? Your local, like, all-American, family-owned, burger place that's making those really good grilled burgers, and it's like a small family operation, and you go downtown and you get your burger and fries, and it's really yummy, and it costs a little more, okay? But each individual order is coming in, and it's a little more homey, okay? So when you choose McDonald's, you know that the food is going to taste good, it's going to be cheaper and quick, and it's going to get to you quick, but your order might be wrong. Your order might be off, okay? Like, they might have missed your small fry, or like they might have missed your little sweet and sour sauce for your kid, okay? And going to McDonald's that might happen, that you got to look in the bag before you leave the parking lot, like, oh, you forgot my sweet and sour, right? That's pretty common. Like, they can forget things like that, and you don't even think twice about it really, because it's McDonald's. It's fast-paced. There's too many cooks in the kitchen, okay? Just like Benchmade. You get a Benchmade knife, most people know right off the bat the knife could come off center. It could have uneven edge bevels or grind lines, and that's just known about Benchmade because there's too many cooks in the kitchen. They're fast-paced, they're a factory setting, and they make awesome knives, but they could definitely have some defects, and it's just expected, and it's not that big of a deal, because that's kind of what you get from like a mass production thing like that, just like McDonald's, okay? And then we have TRM, which is the local burger shop. You call in your order, you go pick it up. It should always be right. They're kind of doing just a few orders at a time, less people in the kitchen, family owned, and when you are paying more for that burger and fries at the local burger shop, you know that you're paying more, but you also know that you might not have to really check the bag when you leave the parking lot. Like, it's a family-owned business, there's less people, they care more about your individual order, there's not as much cuckoo, chaotic stuff going on, and you're expecting that order is going to be correct and all nice and hot and ready for you when you pick it up, okay? Now, let's pretend that you go down to Burger Joe's and you get your food and you go home and you're all excited and hungry because you've been working all day, and you bite into your burger and it's raw. Okay, so maybe it did not get cooked long enough and the center is raw and you can't eat it. It's not ready yet. Okay? That is what is comparable to a situation like this where you called TRM or you ordered online during one of those drops and you're expecting the knife to come to you ready to use, ready, right? Because it's a smaller company, they're not pumping out as many knives. And the attention to detail should be a little better, just like their customer service is so fantastic. That should carry into the whole company. If they care that much about customer service, they should care that much about the product going out correctly the first time. Okay? So if you bite into that burger and it's raw and you have to call Burger Joe's and say, hey, I just picked up my burger, but it's not even cooked all the way, I can't eat it. And then they say, oh, we'll just come back and bring the burger back and we'll finish cooking it for you. That's the same thing as the knife being sent out off-center. Guys, especially if Burger Joe's picked up and they said, oh, we knew that we sent that out to you raw. We can fix it for you. Like, we did know. It just happens more often than not lately. We just send out raw burgers to people and, bring it back and we'll give you a new one. That is the same thing as contacting TRM Nugget. As contacting TRM and saying, Zadie, I'm going to kill you. And saying, the knife came to me, thanks so much, but it's off center. Like it's off center. It's not quite ready to use. I bought this knife from you guys because I didn't want an off center knife like a Benchmade. Like, I paid the extra $150 for something of this quality because I wanted it to be centered. I wanted it to be put together correctly. Does that make more sense, guys? And then imagine if Burger Joe's told you to throw your own hamburger in your own frying pan and finish cooking it. That's what FAQ tells you to do with this. Oh, we sent you the knife off center. We'll just, take it apart, pretend it's a twig and, try to kind of break it, twist and turn that thing and pretend it's a twig and it'll fix itself. That's the same thing as trying to cook the burger from Burger Joe's when it's raw, and then you have to fix it yourself. And if you're not comfortable cooking the raw burger, just bring it back to Joe's. They'll fry it up for you. If I am not comfortable pretending to snap this like a twig, I could send it back to TRM because they have great customer service, and they'll try to fix it up for me. But is that making sense yet, guys? Like, I'm not trying to be an asshole here, but, like, it doesn't take a shit ton of brain cells to understand that, like, this is kind of not cool because they know about it and they've known about it since August. They know about it now. They're posting that the knives are off center and they're still dropping them like bombs. Maybe I'm just literally crazy and I'm the only one that thinks that that's a little strange coming from like a smaller scale company, just like the smaller scale burger shop, right? Like, maybe I'm the only one that thinks that this is not like super cool to do. And if I am the only one, well then fuck me, because I can't change my opinion on that. Like, that this is not totally cool with me. But maybe y'all like eating raw burgers, right? Who fucking knows? I hope that clears things up. I hope that different, like, analogy kind of helps, because I know it's hard to kind of, like, get your head out of the sand and understand things like this when you're so dedicated to, like a company or business or people. Like, it can be hard. Just like it's hard to understand that right now Chris Reeve Knives is not the same as it was when Chris was running it. Like now Tim's running it. It's definitely a little different. We all know that. It's not bad, but it's not superior like it used to be. It's just a little off right now and a little wonky, and like, you know, sometimes we're paying a little too much money for things when they're not quite right. So this is one of those examples. A little too much money, $200-$300 for a knife that they know is off center. Little sus, but yeah. So hopefully that clears things up. Again, not trying to be a prick, just trying to get you guys to kind of get where I'm coming from. I will be testing this. I have some thumb rings or little O-rings coming in from a friend. I did not realize that you were supposed to buy the O-rings for this. Like, I'm a little confused as to why they don't come with the knife if these are so uncomfortable where they make O-rings for it or tell you to get O-rings. Like, why aren't they on here? I don't know. I have O-rings coming in. I am going to test it. I'm not going to try to fix the centering because twisting this thing with the scales being that thin makes me nervy. So I'm going to leave it as it is for now and see what happens. And yeah, go use your shit. I just mumbled. I slurred my words. Go use your shit. Hopefully that made sense. And I will see you on the next video. Peace.